Hi and welcome to Babin's Bees. We're going to do a hive inspection. This is the hive where we caught a swarm last summer. So about 30 minutes away from where we live, somebody had given us a phone call to say that they had a swarm in their tree. So we went and we got that swarm, we captured that swarm and we put it in this hive. It's really turned out to be a hive that has grown really quickly this spring. So we're going to give it a check and just see how they're doing. So we'll check them out. They had lots of honey going into the winter, and they've really eaten all their honey. You can see that these bars are empty, so they'll store these bars and pack them with honey, and they've eaten all the honey in the winter, which is great. That's what it's for. So we'll just bypass some of this and take a look and see how they're doing. And here's still a little bit of stored honey left over from the winter. So you can see the wax there that's capped like that. That's honey in there. And we're just mid-May. We're May 14th today. And so nature is not producing a lot of food yet. So there is some nectar that's flowing and they are starting to bring that in. There is some pollen, but most of the food that Mother Nature provides in the summer still is not there yet. So they do rely on some of the capped honey left over from the winter. We'll keep looking through here. See the bees. And here we do see some of the nectar in there. If you see some shiny liquid in there, that is nectar that they're bringing in. Not really sure where it's from. The maple trees have started to blossom, to bloom. The apple trees are just starting to bud, so it's not coming from there, I don't think, yet. But lots of the alders and that have bloomed, and I think they're getting it from there as well, which is great. The bees look really good. They look nice and shiny, nice and healthy, which is great. Hit the hives really heavy with some oxalic acid to try to get rid of the mite levels. The high mite levels in your hives are going to make your bees' immune system decline, so they're not able to fight off some disease and viruses. We had a lot of deformed wing virus last year, and now that spring is here and we're opening up the hives, we see that they look really nice and healthy, and that really, I believe, is because we've got rid of a lot of their mites, and the mites again are not great for the bees. So treating is, for us anyhow, is proven to be helpful, which is great. So you see lots of bees there. I got up nice and close. And on the other side as well. You know, bees are definitely stinging insects, and they do sting, and we do get stung from time to time, but you can see they're very docile. You can see they're really not interested in flying out and stinging people. They're really just interested in doing their work. Incredibly docile. Just take a peek and see what we see here. You can actually, the comb actually smells sweet. It actually smells like honey. They are bringing in some nectar, so they're starting to store that. And in there as well, you might be able to see some pollen. It's kind of packed in there. It's different colors. It's fairly light right now. But sometimes we'll see very bright orange, bright yellow. We even see red, which I think comes from an oak tree, which is not in bloom yet. So we'll see that a little bit later. But it's pretty neat to see what they bring in. Yeah, these bees look really good. The wings are nice, they're shiny, they're not deformed at all. So that tells me that that virus is gone now, which is great news. Deformed wing virus, of course, will decline your hive, right? Because those bees can't fly, so they can't go out, they can't forage. So deformed wing virus is not great for your hive. So again, as a way to manage the mites, we treat it very heavily to get rid of them, and see what that does for this season. Take another look here, see what we can see. So I see lots of egg in there. That might be really hard to pick up on the camera, but if you look inside one of those cells, you may see something that looks like a teeny piece of rice. And that means the queen was there, and there not that long ago, and laid that egg. Not sure, are you seeing it on the camera, Gloria?
I see one there right in the center. I'm just gonna let it focus. The bee is just surrounded it actually.
Yep. Sometimes it's hard to see. The sun is at Gloria's back, so hopefully the sun is shining directly in that cell.
The bees have covered all the holes.
Okay, yep. Well, we'll catch another one. But anyhow, just looking for the queen right quick. Still don't see her. This hive was what we would have considered to be fairly aggressive. They didn't like it when you visited their hive, but today they're really calm. I think just as Mother Nature produces a little bit more food in nature, it contents the bees. They just seem to be much more content, and they do seem very content today. Now today is about 20 degrees, and it's sunny. It's got a nice breeze, so it is a beautiful day. Just looking quickly for the queen. Now this is a really interesting comb, and we'll kind of point out some things that you may find interesting. Let me just take a quick peek first. Looking for that queen. Not seeing her. Now that queen will lay a lot of eggs every day. She'll lay, you know, upwards of 2,000 eggs per day. So, and you're looking at about 16 days, roughly 18 days before they hatch out. So the population can grow very quickly. A bee, again, only lives about 6 weeks though. So as they're hatching, some are dying, but the population will peak. This will be a very big hive. And it'll take quite a bit of work to manage it. We may have to split just because there might be too many bees. I do want to point out some things on this bar though. Just blowing some out of the way. So if you look on this side right here, you're going to see the cells are capped there, and it looks a little bit fuzzy, a little bit furry maybe. Inside there is a female bee that will be hatched out of there. But when you look here, right there, which looks a little bit more like corn pops, I guess, corn pop cereal, or you can just tell that it's bulged out a little bit. That's male bees, drones. So the male bee, the drone bee, is bigger than the female bee, so they need a little bit more room. So when they cap that cell, they bow it out that way, just to give them that room that they need. And so you'll see that is, those will be male bees that'll come out there.
There's also a lot of larvae in there.
Is there some larvae?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. The drone cells there. You see the white C-shaped, looks almost like macaroni.
Right, so when she lays that egg, it's pretty straight. It looks like a small rice, but as it matures, it turns into a C, it curves, and then grows into a larvae. Got a spider there visiting. Just want to take a quick gander again for the queen. See if I see her. Not seeing her there. And I'm not seeing her there. Though it's very early in the season, because this is such a large hive, kind of abnormally large in the sense that it's much bigger than our other hives in population, I'm also starting to look for what we call queen cups. And that's where the bees will make a little cup. It's out of wax. It's a little bit abnormal from the other cells that they create. And that's there just in case the queen wants to make another queen. And in a sense, when the original queen makes another queen, that signals to the rest of the bees it's time to split. And of course, they could swarm, but as beekeepers, we watch that very, very carefully. And if we see that sign, we actually kind of force the swarm in a sense, in that we will artificially swarm them. We will split them in half. So we would take the original queen, some wax, put them in another box with some bees, and then let that other queen hatch out. So now your one hive becomes two hives. So they naturally do that in nature, and that's how they multiply. So we're always watching for those things, those signs as well. And again, very early in the season, but it's a large hive. They're gonna wanna split for sure. Take another look here. Not seeing the queen, but you certainly see more capped. It's capped brood, capped bees that will emerge out. And again, this is a fairly large hive, so when I put this hive back together again, we're going to want to give them a little bit more space so they don't feel cramped. And that's really important. This is a queen cup right here. So I'll show it from the side view first, right there. And then I'm going to take a look inside. And it's what we call dry, so in a sense there's nothing in there. Queen has not laid an egg in there, but potentially she could. So the bees put it there just in case. Some people will leave them there. I typically just kind of bust them out, just like that, just to stop that urge a little bit. However, I really don't know that it makes a big difference. Maybe it just makes me feel better. But we'll watch those very closely, very carefully. Not seeing the queen on this bar either. Take another quick peek. Not seeing her there. Something else that's really interesting about bees, and Gloria, I'm going to see if you can come in a little bit closer here and to look here. I want to show some of this brown stuff here, right here. I'm just going to, as you're there, I'm going to just scrape some up just so you can see it. And I'll get a little bit more from here and from here. This brown stuff that it's kind of on the edge of the knife now, that's called Propolis, and that comes from trees. So it's really like tree sap. They gather that from trees and they use it inside. Now there's lots of scientific research that's been done on Propolis, the benefits to hives and also the benefits to humans. So some humans will use this, they'll make tinctures out of it, they'll do different things. But for the beehives, it actually promotes good health. And the bees will kind of put it inside their hive. They also use it to seal. So you'll notice that there's a lot of that between the bars, between the gaps. And the bees like things nice and closed and tight. So they'll put that between different bars. They'll also use it for airflow, right? If there's too much airflow, they'll block it with the propolis. If there's not enough airflow, then they of course remove it. So it's pretty neat to see, pretty interesting. Just look quickly for the queen here. Seeing lots of queen cups. So we'll take a peek at those. I do see one bee here, and I'm not sure, I'm going to point it out, but hopefully you can see it. Yeah. This bee right here. And on her hind legs, you do see what, kind of looks very, very pale yellow, maybe even white on the camera. That's pollen. So the bees have pouches on their hind legs. And as they go from flower to flower to flower, they get dusty. And then they kind of clean themselves off and they put that pollen in the pouches. They fly back to the hive and they pass it on to the other bees who then take it and pack it in. And they store it and they mix it with a little bit of nectar. It becomes what's called bee bread. And that bee bread is what they use to feed the larvae. And so it becomes their food. It's a source of protein for the bees. Take another look here for the queen, not seeing her here. Not seeing her here. I do want to look at some of those queen cups. Just make sure that they're empty. And they're all empty. Which is great. When we're doing a hive inspection, it's great to see the queen, but it's not a must. If you can find egg in your hive, you know that the queen is there laying. That's what's important. Of course, seeing the queen is always a bonus, but you don't see her every time. There's a lot of bees in here, and you may not see her, especially if you're going very quick. You may not spot her, but we like to be able to see her. Oop, that wax is soft. Not seeing her there either. Back up here. Look at those queen cups for a minute. Back in. We'll check a couple more, see if we spot her. Not seeing her there. Not seeing her there either. Anybody see the queen? I'm not seeing her. Not there. I wish you could smell the hive. Right now it smells really sweet. So as they bring in that nectar, and though there's not a lot in nature, it certainly makes the hive smell very sweet. Look there, see if you see the queen. Still not seeing her. And again, we may not see her today. Just kind of going rather quickly. So there's a lot of queen cups in this hive, and again, it is fairly early for them to wanna swarm or split. But it's just the nature of the size of this colony. It is really big for the time of year. We want to watch this hive very carefully.
There she is.
Do you see her? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there she is. Let's see if we can spot her. So she's right there. So you can see she's bigger than the other bees, obviously, and again she'll lay a couple of thousand eggs per day. She's a busy queen, and she has just been laying tons and tons and tons of egg. She's gonna sneak on the other side there, I bet. She's camera shy. Let's just see if we can find her on this side. Do you see her? I'm not seeing her right now.
No, I don't see her either.
No, I'm just going to take a quick look this way. Not seeing her. She may have gone back over. Well, that's how hard it can be to spot a queen sometimes, right? You see them and then they're gone. They kind of hide underneath some of the bees sometimes. I see her now. She's right there. So you can see she's looking at the cell. She'll put her face in there and she'll take a peek. And then of course she'll put her backside in there and lay an egg. There she is right there. Hopefully you're getting her okay on the camera.
I see her on the camera well.
She likes to go towards that edge. She's really looking. So I'm going to put it back in, keep her safe. And so I think we'll stop there. So just want to say thanks for watching the video, and we'll bring you some more this season. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.